ladies and gentlemen, it is Making Waves, episode, I don't know, 106.
Yeah.
106.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'd like to welcome the gentleman rockers of Aranda to the program. Thank you guys for coming tonight.
Gentlemen,
guys. That may have been the softest opening ever there. I think we just kind of eased on in. I'm Al McManus, the VP of Operations for Shiprocked, and with us we have Chad Nicefield and Dameon. We have Dameon and Gabe and Aranda here. And guys, what is shaking in your world right now? You both look lovely and beautiful. What's happening with you guys these days?
We're growing our beards. We're gonna try to do that for the next 3 months without like any kind of cut. It's just gonna be straight. We like beard rock. So
listening to a lot of ZZ Top lately and just getting really inspired.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think I'm gonna have to listen to a little bit more ZZ Top.
Yeah, I think some of you are listening to a lot of ZZ Top.
You guys are still on the first record.
Yeah, you need
there's good stuff coming.
You guys are at the High Skill Talent Show.
I feel like you need 50% more ZZ Top.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is Billy Gibbons at 15 years.
Less leg, more tush.
You guys do look good. For those who can't see, I'll describe it really quickly.
Yeah.
There's
on the left, there is a luscious.
Yeah. If you were to close one eye, no, you guys are looking great, and it's very good to see both of your faces. I don't mean to bogart this moment here, but I just wanted to say you're always my favorite people to see on the ship. Oh. Literally every single time.
Thank you.
Really? Just want to say that.
Really? Is that
even better than Al?
Are we supposed to say the same?
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm letting you know my truth. It's up to you to come to Jesus or not.
I just love hanging out with you because I think you're hilarious. Both you guys actually are two of the funniest guys that I think we know. So.
Oh wow, thank you. Pleasure. So you need more. So you need more to find more friends. Obviously, expand your friend network.
I said that because you're there, and I didn't.
Because I'm listening.
Chad,
we can get him to go away.
So I do. So if we experience a couple technical difficulties, we've established early on that the boys are on the tail end of the new Tornado Alley out there in Oklahoma City.
I think there's actually a warning in the county right now, so we're looking good.
Perfect. Chad, like I was saying, it's always something every week, isn't it? Like always weather. I mean, I forgot who we had last week. Elias from Nonpoint. It was like, I think there's blue. I think the sky's green. So that stuff just happens. Just
awesome. I mean, Justin, he was had down and out that one day because of the weather.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, no power.
That's good. We're happy about that. Yeah.
But
to answer your question, Al.
Yes.
Other than growing beards.
We went off on that.
Yeah. We've been doing really well. I would actually say for us, we are kind of experiencing a little bit of a rebirth in our careers a little bit. Mm-hmm. We in about I'd say 2016, 2017, we kind of halted things for a little while. Then we tried to start ramping stuff back up, and it's pretty well documented what happened with our drummer and all that. And so that kind of halted us again. Then the pandemic came, and it kind of, we recorded a record during the pandemic. But it's really been the last year where we've actually been going back out and touring some and doing some shows and releasing more music. And again, it's just been 2022 into 2023 has just been really, really great. And we're really thankful that we're still able to do it, and actually having a lot of fun doing it now, because we're not putting a bunch of pressure on ourselves to like achieve something. We're just like, hey, we want to make music and hang out and play and have fun, and those things make things way more enjoyable than trying to maybe chase something, which is maybe what we were trying to do at some point in our careers. So anyway,
yeah, you're chasing something, but the object is different. Right, you're still chasing something, and you're fueled by the passion for music, but your goal has changed potentially, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We are definitely fueled by just really the art of it, really kind of the messaging of just really having something to say. There's a part of us that was like, man, maybe we kind of halted for 3 or 4 years because we didn't have the right thing to say, or we didn't have, but we really have a lot to say now, and so we're doing that now, and we're kind of doing it for us at a record pace.
Yeah. Do you think that's a thing with bands? I think that might be a thing with bands where, especially bands that have long careers. It's like this record was just kind of so-so. It's like maybe they just didn't have anything to say that like in their life, right? You got to go experience things in your life. I mentioned I had a meeting today, and I met with an artist that's really successful right now. And my business partner was like, he's like, man, I sure hope he's enjoying it, because he's so busy. And I'm like, I'll bring this back, but I thought he has to be enjoying it and taking time because he's keeping his music is fresh every time. And if he wasn't enjoying it and going out and enjoying the fruits of his labor somehow and living life and interacting with real people or going on his boat or going on his truck or his new car, like he wouldn't have anything to talk about or anything to say. And his music is very fresh and he's constantly creating. So for you guys, it's like, hey man, if we don't have anything to say, maybe we just don't say anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we were on record 4 of a 6 record deal with a label and it was like, hey, you guys have to put this record out. It's just kind of nice to like wait until something happens and wait till you have something really to say to people. And that's what music is about all in the first place, is connecting with people. You know what I mean?
I think it was also therapeutic for us too. It's like, unfortunately for us, a lot of what happened was kind of tragic and outside of the pandemic, losing band members and people close to us. And our dad passed away during that time. And that fueled a great creativity in us, but it also was more of a cathartic type of process too, to kind of help us get through that stuff.
Yeah. Cause at least I think that we do connect through brokenness as human beings. Like that is to me, like that transcendent thing where it's like, we connect through brokenness. Like when we talk with human beings, usually the things that we have in common are some of the most broken things. And that's why it's like, oh God, man, I know what you mean. You too, and that really, and as far as with music, that's, I think what our last record really was, man, we were pretty broken, but there's a little bit of triumph in that, basically from the overcoming of that.
Chad, it sounds like what Winston would said. When you and Justin talked to Winston from Parkway Drive, and he was talking about the darkness of music. Yeah, pretty similar kind of thoughts. We had him on a month or so ago, and he said he was kind of along those same lines. It's like that's the bonding part of music, is the kind of the dark and kind of maybe more depressing things. Not that you live in that necessarily, but that's the catharsis, right? That's what you're trying to maybe get out of what's in your system. Right.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's like, hey, I want to share all my crap with you. Here, I hope you like it. But the listener has crap too.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the surface level connection, that where the fun songs and the just rock, let's just have fun. But the deeper connection you have with each other are those type of songs where you're connecting on something tragic that has happened to you, but as a universal thing that just happens to people at certain points in their life. And so it does create especially with our fans and stuff, it creates a really cool bond. And when you feel that and get that back from them, that, hey man, this really helped me through a really bad time, and we come back to it and say, guess what? It helped us through a really bad time creating it. So we're glad to put it out there and have you get something out of it too, So
I think there's something to be said about empathy in musicians, and when the going gets tough, the tough get going type sort of situation. Where, I mean, there's tons of us during what you described as a worldwide pandemic, right? And then on top of it, your own personal strifes that would be a daily, no matter what. It caused a lot of folks, including myself, to freeze. Like I don't know how to feel. I don't want to deal with how I'm feeling. I don't know. I don't have the pen and paper or the strength really, right, in these days. And when you're maybe there's something also to be said about the idea of where you guys blood, to be able to lean in on each other. You haven't seen to be discussing about it. You've both seen each other's shit from very early on, right?
Yeah,
that sort of humility goes right out the window when it comes to the humanity of like empathy and all of those other things. So I think a certain pedigree of human, right, can have the conversation that you mentioned, Al, with Winston and our friends here in Aranda. Not everybody has the same story, but we sure, not everybody speaks the same story, but we sure do feel it. And, you know, when you're able to like empathize and realize exactly who you are within that process, it's pretty special, man. I can't say anything else other than kudos. And the fact that you were able to, after what, 7 years, put a record, right? Your last record before this was 7 years, and to come out of like you're saying, come out of such a dark period stronger than you've ever been. That has something to do with, you know, the tale behind you, you know, the trail that you've lived of your lives together.
Yeah.
Very
also
fucking cool.
too, really the appreciation to, you know how it is whenever you get to play a live show or whenever you get to play in front of anybody or somebody actually says, dude, that made a difference. You're like, man, you I guess have the capacity now to hear that and receive it and go, man, that is one of the most special things you can ever really attain as a musician.
It's definitely different as you get older, you know, that when somebody says what you're talking about now, you feel it inside and you're like, wow, man, I feel like I just did what I was created to do, you know, and you receive it, like you said, more than just like, oh man, thanks, you know, thanks. You're really like, wow, you know, try to take it in and, you know, feel those moments and be in the present in those moments, you know.
How did the
sorry, go ahead.
How did the? It's interesting because you probably had to. Did you have to? I guess it's a complex question. Multifaceted. Did you have a bunch of stuff, kind of bits and pieces ready to go, worked on when you sat down? Did you sit down and go, okay, you know what, let's start on a new project? Or was it a matter of, you know, we got all this stuff kind of we've been kicking around, maybe it's time to pull it all together? Or was it a very specific thing going, okay, we're starting, okay, ready, we're starting, okay, start, right?
Yeah.
Well, how did this writing process for this project happen? That very, I mean, in a significant way, it was obviously very different, but what was the writing process about for this project?
I think for us, again, we had started thinking about this project right before Mike passed away. And so I remember when we had kind of the first bits of something and we went in to record the first song. It was a song called Pay For, which we ended up doing with Vernon Reed from Living Color. And but we had the bare bones of it and we were recorded, and it was actually Mike's last recording session before he had passed. And I remember just the whole thing was like, man, we've always considered ourselves, just even in the landscape and the genre of I guess rock and active rock and all that stuff. Active rock. Yeah, like we've
stationary rock.
Stationary rock. We're not, I guess our sound might be a tad bit different than maybe a lot of what you hear in that genre. And so, you know, we were kind of the Hall & Oates of active rock, and it was just like we would go in there.
I would find that to be highly complimentary.
But we'd go in, and we went in there with that kind of attitude. We're like, man, we can only be ourselves. We're not trying to really be anything else. So we love to rock. We love harmonies. And that was what we kind of went in. We were like, okay, we're going to do that. Then the messaging started becoming a real big thing. It's like, man, this doesn't feel, you know, when we had done maybe the last couple records, there's always a couple of those songs that's, you know, kind of like, man, somebody did me dirty. And, you know, my ex, you know, did this or whatever. And like that, we had really none of that business on this record at all. It was really all more about the human condition and kind of the landscape of the world. Like we had a song called, I Can't, which was just like, man, when you would turn on the news during that whole 2020 season, you were just like, oh my gosh, man, this is next level. Like this is, you know, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. And we had kind of gone into that song going, man, I don't want to be controlled. Two, I can't take this, man. I can't take all this hate, all this. I mean, there was so much polarizing, people just hating each other because they thought this or they thought that, or you're crazy for this or whatever. And it was just, I mean, it was maddening, I think, for all of us, you know.
There's already so much information, you know, that comes to you through the internet that I don't think we're meant to know about everything that's happening in the world. I just don't think our brains and our sensitivity and stuff. And if you can't process that or filter it the right way, or if you try to solve all the world's problems or really take all that stuff in, it affects you mentally. You know, I think a lot of us have had to kind of pull back from all that. And, you know, I saw a lot of people, especially on social media, like, man, I've got to take a break from this, because you can only, they never, well, a lot of them never came out and said why they were taking the break. But I just imagined, yeah, man, it's tough. Like, sometimes you have to turn it off and get away from it.
Or
So,
at the very least, compartmentalize.
oh,
Man,
man.
I was just about to say, man, you were reading my mind, because that went right in. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing, right? We all get this news, and some consume it more than others. I think those that consume it the most, I think, maybe y'all disagree, I think those that consume it the most and are most aware of things that are happening in the world are the sadder people that you know. I'm not suggesting they're sad people or like how sad. It's not a put down. It's just when you interact with them, it seems like they might not be as happy as someone else. And I would challenge everyone out there that may be listening or maybe ignoring. I would challenge, what part of what you're consuming matters?
Yeah.
Does it matter? You know, we all know that bad things are happening. We all know it. But I think the repeated beatdown of getting that information,
And there's
just
so much
constantly,
of it, we can't
and
do
there's
it.
so much, and you can't do a dang thing about any of it. Not a single thing. The only thing you can do is be nice to your neighbor and open the door for people at the grocery store. Personally, I don't go in the grocery store. I Instacart. That's just how I do it.
Yeah.
But when I click order on my Instacart, I do it with a smile, as if someone's there saying, "Thank you for your order." And I look at them and I say, "Thank you for providing this service to me."
Did you say affirmations to your phone? And
Yes.
no, thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Hey,
job.
by the way,
Great
when
job.
I've been using that Chat GPT thing for some hilarious stuff. I think it's hilarious. And and when I edit it, I say, "Write a funny paragraph about blah blah blah," and they do it. And I want to edit it, and I start with, "Cool, that's awesome, thanks. Can you please revise it with?" And I'm like, "Well, why am I saying cool? That's like
Please. And
here's a compliment to the thing, right?" But here's the thing, Chad. It's interesting you say that. I think that we get used to communicating on the internet in those ways where you quick buy something from Lowe's. Like, you guys know this, blue collar guys have built probably more shit than anyone will build that I know, right? And that kind of thing, right? And you go and you buy it from Lowe's and you're like, bam, I got it. And you go to Lowe's and you pick it up. There's no interaction with people anymore. Everything is very cyborg, and we've forgotten how to just have basic politeness. So all those things combined, man, it can be really, you got to be aware that it's happening. And you just got to be on your best behavior when you wake up in the morning and say, "You know what, today I'm just going to be nice."
You have to just, if you're really wanting to help, you have a sphere of people and influence around you that you're neglecting by putting all of your energy into what's happening abroad or whatever. You've got, like, I always look at it like I've got 5 guys that work for me, and I do construction tile stuff. And I always think about, like, when I get like that, when I start really worrying about like the shootings that happen, what are we going to do? I always start going, man, what are you doing to help those guys out that you have direct access to on the daily, and you're able to know literally what each one of them's going through, what they're struggling with, whether it's financial, family. How can you influence and help in a positive way? So I think, for me, that's the way I get out of that mindset.
And it's certainly not to say that those other things don't matter, because they do.
Oh yeah.
But it's also like, I can't do anything about that. I mean, everyone, you feel so hopeless and you get so overwhelmed with all those bad things. But like you said, I mean, it's time to focus on, hey, what's the good thing I can do today? Right? Am I taking donuts to the teacher today? Like, am I sending am I telling my kid to write a thank you note to his gym teacher? Hey, Dad, I did this cool thing in gym class yesterday, and it was blah blah blah. And the teacher was really cool. Hey, man, take a minute, take a letter, put it in your backpack, give it to your teacher tomorrow. Like,
we really only have that much.
I don't know.
We only have so much energy to give to that type of thing, and when you overwhelm yourself with stuff like you're saying that doesn't matter in your world, I think you're you're neglecting what you could be doing,
Mhm. So if one was to crank up the Aranda, the new Aranda music like I did in the car today, assuming one was to do that,
Assume for a minute.
I may be jumping to the end here, but this is a question that may be asked at the end. But what are you trying to say with this piece of music? It's obviously a grouping, a collection of songs. But you said you had something to say. Now you have something to say. Put it in a funnel. And if you had to put all the songs in a funnel, what would come out the other end of the funnel?
Certainly with the title, I should at least say, Recollection of a Painted Year. It seems like
let's talk about that first.
Very on the nose. Yeah.
Well, for us, it was really that collection of songs that, our experience in that 18 to 24 month period of like lots of loss, lots of even stuff dealing with our family, our identities. I don't think there's enough that is said sometimes about how, especially us as musicians, sometimes we sometimes bury ourselves and think our identities is the music and is our voices or is our guitars, which is just a complete farce. It's not, there's so much more to humans in general than just what they do. You know what I mean? It's who they are. You know what I mean? And so we kind of wanted to overall the Recollections of a Painted Year. Yes, it was this collection, but it was almost like, man, do you feel the way that we do? You know what I mean? Do you? We're all in this together. We're all in this thing called life, this struggle called life together, So, as we go down, excuse me, the list of songs, there's a song called Will We Ever Know?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've all struggled with this. Like, I remember just kind of had my guitar and I'm looking out literally my window and it's just kind of like that, it's Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. And you're just like, oh my God, I wonder if this life, what is this life kind of thing? It's like, I often wonder, if my life even has real meaning. And it's like, if we're born to die, does it even matter?
Mm-hmm.
Will we ever know that? Like, what is the answer on the other side? And so that's how the record starts out. Usually on every one of our other records, it would always be like, yeah, let's go. We want to go. And this
Please always talk like that.
I was going to say, well, usually it's Wilson.
Pretty good. Yeah. Exactly. We steal from you guys.
You got to come on and be like, just leave the back room in pure tears. All right. What the fuck?
Exactly. But then we thought it would just be, crazy as we kind of like the track listing and the order of it was pretty deliberate,
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, it's like, we're talking about being the underdog and coming out the other side of things. And then the next thing is a song about like people not really seeing you for who you are. It's called Invisible. Mm-hmm. And the next song going into a song called Over My Head, where it's just really about mental health issues. That's like, man, I'm trying. Have you ever just been in a situation where you're trying to save somebody and you're like, man, the only person that can really save yourself, you've got to do something for yourself.
Yeah. And that's an interesting play on words in the title too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then after that, there's a song on there called Even When, which is just a deeply, deeply personal song from me to my son. You know what I mean? And so it's basically from my son's perspective. He was going through a ton. I won't disclose everything, but he was going through so much stuff. And I thought I was going to lose him. And
how old is he? How old is he?
He just turned 20. Yeah.
Okay.
And this was about 3 years ago, and he was just struggling, man. And it was a week after the pandemic had hit. So I couldn't go see him. He lives in San Francisco. I couldn't go see him. I was a mess. He was more of a mess. And the only thing I could do was like, man, I've got to do something. And so it was literally kind of a love letter to my son, and just almost from his perspective. And I kind of wanted to write it from that, like what he was thinking. And I wanted him to know I'm there, even when anything is all the stuff that's falling down. I'm still here, man. I'm still here, even when. And so that was, again, just deeply, deeply personal song. And then the other song after that, we have a song called Blue Sky, which is kind of the feel of it's kind of more like a King's X / Audio Slave.
Totally. Now I don't speak English, so I didn't understand that song.
Oh,
Oh, that's Cielo Azul.
Cielo Azul.
Yeah, I didn't understand that song. What's funny is, y'all, the first time I listened to that, I got Cielo Azul first.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Really?
So I was sitting there listening to it, and I was kind of listening. I'm like, what the heck is he saying? Like, what is he saying? And it took, I'm not going to lie, I'm embarrassed to say, it took longer than it should have for me to realize that you were singing in Spanish.
Wow.
Much longer. I just thought I couldn't understand what you were saying, or like my brain was rattled.
The accent is got you stumbling.
It was, but I have a question about that song. It was so cool that you did that, and I'm like, okay, there's a couple things going on here in my mind. Either it's just random stuff I was thinking. One is, what a cool marketing angle, whether it was or whether it was not, or where it came from, we can get into. But I'm like, that's a cool marketing angle, period. Like, for any band to do that, right? Not assuming that it was strictly for marketing. And then the other part of it was, I was thinking, these guys had to have known somebody that speaks Spanish. And this is my hunch, someone who speaks Spanish and could sing. Because I felt like maybe you had somebody sing it and give it back to you so you could get it right. Unless you're completely fluent in Spanish.
He's completely fluent.
Okay, there you go. Because
Okay.
I was like, how else? Because I didn't know that about you, right? So I'm like, how else would he know? Because you can't get it right. You can't get it right by just reading it off the page. You'd have to hear somebody sing it to you, or be bilingual.
Yeah, but
Which
I
you
mean,
are.
Dameon's wife is Puerto Rican, and she really did most of the translation on the words.
See,
and
I knew there was some help. I had
100% right, because she's
Yeah.
a great singer as well. And so
See?
she helped a ton. That's a good call.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Good call. So our, Aranda is a
She's-
Spanish.
She's like the
name.
Puerto Rican
Yes,
Rod Stewart.
So exactly.
Ronaldo,
And so,
Stuarte.
so
There
it's
is.
and the reason we did it was it is part of our identity. There's a big part of us that's like our great grandparents from Cuba. So they were
DNA, yeah.
from Havana, Cuba, and that's where the Aranda name comes from.
Yep.
And so his wife is Hispanic. My wife is from Mexico City. So we have deep ties in the Latin world. Our kids are mixed,
Yeah,
Yo, that's
two
super
out of my
sexy
three
about it.
kids.
it's
White,
so cool. All of it is so cool. I
Yeah, that's
love.
like-
So that's why we did it, and
High five.
it always talked about doing it. And then finally we just decided on this record, why are we not doing, look, our name is Aranda, it's like,
Yeah.
if we ever were able to tour in Latin America or South America, or Central America, Latin America, we would do well, so why are we not trying to service that market at all and try to connect with that part of our identity,
Yeah.
so it's been fun.
Dameon, you mentioned that Gabe was the one that speaks more fluent Spanish, because you pointed at him, you're like, him, you don't.
Oh,
Well,
you-
we didn't grow up speaking Spanish. So I started learning Spanish when I met my wife. I was 15 years old. So I
The
developed-
line stopped with my grandfather. He
Mhm.
stopped speaking Spanish to the kids, and so that's when
Gotcha.
that stopped. And then
it was very kind of American to speak English.
Right.
That was just the culture back then. And so his wife was Italian, so they would speak Spanish and Italian back and forth when they didn't want them to understand it, but they didn't teach them directly those languages. So that's where it stopped. And so
Huh.
I kind of have picked it up. It's funny because my kids now are picking it up. I know I really feel like one of them is probably going to marry a Spanish speaker, just his tendencies and stuff. And his girlfriend now is Hispanic. And so, it would be pretty awesome to have that.
Bring it
come back.
back. Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Totally. So, I should know this, but I don't. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners may not know this. Just talk about your families right quick, if you're comfortable doing that. You're both been married for some time, right?
yes,
Yep. So as I mentioned, I met my wife when I was 15.
So you've been married for 10 years. Okay. Good job.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going up for 6 years. 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
No, we got married in 2000. So
Okay.
coming up on 23 years.
23. Okay.
Congrats. That's awesome.
I've got, thanks, dude. I've
Yeah,
got
that's
3 kids, 20-year-old, 17-year-old, and almost 12-year-old.
so you're a little bit of a quitter.
Yeah.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dameon, you.
Dameon, please tell me you're not a quitter.
Yep. So I never quit.
I'm always trying.
I'm always trying.
Up all night, baby.
Yes, I have a 20-year-old, and I've been married 13 years. So that'll give you. There's another whole story there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I have a
Stop the
14-year-old.
world record, basically.
I do have a 14-year-old that is with my wife of 13 years, and then I have an 8-year-old also too. So I've split everybody up 6 years apart just to,
Keep it symmetrical.
I like all stages of life.
Yeah, keep it symmetrical. How has having kids changed your? I look, as a guy with a couple kids, it changes your complete. It changes everything about every way that you think your life in an instant. The moment it happens, you're complete. Everything about your thought process, about everything in the world changes, as us kind of dads know. How to going through all that stuff with the kids, like in the last 7-8 years, has there been any? I mean, obviously with you wrote the song about like a love letter to your son, all the things he was going to, right? I guess my question is, it's more of a comment, but looking back, it's like you probably on this music, you're looking back going, we could have never written, you'd never written this stuff, the maturation, right?
No,
Right.
No, well, listen, I mean, you just listened to like our first couple records, you
Right.
know, and those are some pretty young guys that don't know what the heck's going on, but it's fun. It's real fun.
We've got deeper cuts before that stuff too that are
Oh.
way more clueless.
Yeah, we'll send you guys some.
Wait, before 2001?
Not real, not more in the 2001 to 2008 era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But our first record really wasn't. Well, we did do one here, but yeah, what was it? 2008 was when our first
Yeah.
official release was. So we got a ton.
We dabbled before that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Can I
Sorry,
ask you a
Chad.
question? Yeah. Now, so like, I found some pretty interesting things out about you guys. Oh, I went blurry. Recently, I don't know how that happened. Hopefully, it's like, whoa. So there's like a few notes that I took about your history in particular, specifically with you went through the gamut. So I didn't realize that you did the whole, like, we signed to a major label, the major label did the major label thing, and then you went on and kept pushing through, had a huge breakthrough post all of that. And then Kelly Clarkson apparently has re-recorded not one, but 2 of your songs. Is this true?
This is very true. So when I was out in
There it goes.
yeah, you look
You're back. God,
Never been more mustard.
Yeah.
more mustard. I forever I was doing the songwriting thing out in LA for a while and got signed to a publishing deal out there and was just writing. And back then, you know, this was like 05, 06, like you were trying to get tracks on other people's, or you were just trying to eat, really, is what was happening. And so you would do 2 or 3 sessions a day in LA. So you'd probably write 10 to 12 songs a week kind of thing. And you just go through the gamut. And so I learned a ton in doing that. But my publishers showed New Kelly, and those songs were actually about 2 years old by the time Kelly had heard them. And at that point we were like, well, we're just recording them for our record because nobody seems to want these. But our publisher, he was like, man, we showed them to Kelly and she loves them. And not only does she love them, now her next record is entitled one of the songs off.
Didn't she call you?
And she called me. Yeah, she called me. She was
Which
like,
at the time was
yeah,
a huge
I
deal.
didn't know her. I was coming back from work and she calls and I get on the phone and she goes, hey, is this Dameon? And I was like, yes, this is Dameon. She goes, this is Kelly Clarkson. I was like, well, this is awesome, you know. And we ended up talking. We talked for about an hour But first she was like, is it okay if I use these songs? She goes, I had no effing idea that these were already on your album before I recorded them. So I am sorry. I really want to still use them. Is that okay? And we were like, yes. And
yes, Kelly Clarkson.
yes, that was literally our tour support for 2009 and 10. Like,
Yeah.
we were very thankful. It's
Now, did
like,
Kelly Clarkson know that she didn't need your permission? She was just being nice.
she was totally being
Mhm.
nice. And I
Yeah,
found,
that's awesome. That's
Finally, the
awesome.
album.
yeah, she was gonna do some other title to the record, but I think like Pink or somebody had the same title or something similar. So she went with All I Ever Wanted, and it ended up being a single on her record. And it was, man, it was really just a cool, like, you know, it's like bucket list stuff. You go, man, this, can't believe this is happening. It's awesome, thankful. And I think the biggest thing with all that was we finally kind of, it was a little bit of validation for us, like, man, maybe we can write songs. Maybe we can really do, you know, because, man, when you write 150 and nothing happens, that can do something to you mentally. You're like, oh man, okay.
I just don't have the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think with this question, I'm glad you brought that up, Chad, because it leads me to the so a couple weeks ago, one of you guys texted me the link to the sit down interview, the long form interview thing, which, what is that, a series for the casino entertainment department or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called
Let me
Play
just tell you, I'm going to link that in the video description below or something like that. But I'm gonna link it, man. I watched that thing, and I don't know if I told y'all, that was so cool. It was like that was it 35, 40 minutes long or so, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, well worth the time. It was so interesting. I got to learn about you guys in a way that I didn't know, and like, it was really well done, really well shot. So if anybody's listening, I don't know where that thing even lives. Can you tell me where that thing even lives?
It's definitely on YouTube.
Yeah, playitloud.com.
Playitloud.com, or on YouTube, search Aranda Play It Loud, something like that. Yeah, definitely check that out. It's super cool. It's well done. Really good interview questions. It looked like you guys were kind of, it was just so cool. It was just really cool. So good job on that.
I mean, we didn't realize we had that much of a story, you know, but when you sit down finally and you kind of chronologically talk it out with somebody, and then, to your point, he had some great questions and things that led the conversation along. Man, there was a couple times we just look at each other like, wow, like this has been a journey, you know, because there's a part of your life that it feels like it goes by in a blink of an eye. But when you sit down and start really talking about it, you realize, man, there's a lot of water under the bridge. You know?
There's a lot of things you compartmentalize.
You guys are
they call it a
callback.
They call it a callback. Don't call it a callback.
Exactly.
You guys are celebrating your 15-year anniversary of your first record, right? Was that the record that was also produced by was it Johnny K or Kato?
No, neither.
Oh.
This one was this
See?
Learning.
This one was produced by us and some of our mentors, Louis Biancanello, Sam Waters, and Craig Alvin, and Neil deGrape.
Yeah, Neil.
So it was kind of a faceted, because it was our first album, so it almost felt, for us, we grabbed so many different songs from so many different eras. It felt like a greatest hits record for us.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, we wanted it. We had the ability to do it with whoever we wanted to do it with, you know, like the label guy, Adam, basically said, just make the record that you guys want, like get with whoever you want to get, and, you know, say what you want to say. And so we ended up just grabbing everybody. We're like, hey,
Let's
They
go.
said they
got them all
said
to play nice in the sandbox, which is pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah.
So milestone number 1 at 15 years ago, and then after that, you got your next 2 records. One of them, I know about Johnny and Kato. I can't remember which records they each did.
Stop the World 2012, Not the Same 2015. Johnny 2012 and Kato 2015.
Yeah.
Oh man, and you must have been on the tail end of Kato's.
Yeah.
That was another part that kind of started the whole, like, our journey of kind of losing people around us and people that we really cared about, you know. Remember hearing about that and just being crushed, you know.
Yeah.
So you guys are re-releasing. Yeah, that's fucking awful. You guys are re-releasing the 15-year record on vinyl for the first time, right?
Yeah, we're doing the vinyl thing, and we haven't done a vinyl on any of our stuff before, so we were really excited. I got the test pressings about 4 days ago, I
best.
love the vinyl thing. I think it's
Yeah.
just cool and awesome. And just putting it on there and then putting it in, you know, and then like, oh my gosh, that is just the cool. I just thought it was the coolest. So yeah, so we're excited about that. We're also putting out a super deluxe on all the DSPs, which is gonna have like 25, 30 songs. It'll be Aranda smorgasbord, you know, for
Yeah.
so
For better. or For
What's
worse.
that? What's that Spanish translation?
Smorgasbord?
Yeah, we're gonna need to know.
Smorgasbord.
El smorgasbord.
El smorgasbord.
God, even guys that can speak
He's-
Spanish clown it. You
Wait a
know,
minute.
God.
Scandinavian.
So you guys are also like, I'm just sorry if I'm blowing the load here on all these talking points, but I oh yeah, the idea of you playing shows coming up. I guess my question is, you're obviously booking some. I heard. I should say, I heard you're booking some. And
Yes.
and secondly, what kind of like show is that going to be, especially on the heels of a 15-year anniversary and, you know, this double super doobly deluxe
It's a
album
smorgasbord,
coming
Chad.
out. And and the El Smorgasbord album. But then you also have the brand new album that just came out, and there's a deluxe version of that too. So what could like fans expect at the live shows?
Well, I guess
We don't know.
we
the
are
best.
planning on playing the record all the way down. We're planning on doing that. We'll have some really cool special guests. I mean, again, it's going to be in Oklahoma City. It's going to be kind of a one-time big blowout for that. But I mean, for us, it's special because it was, again, I know it was our first record, but it did again feel like a relaunch of our careers at that point. We had gone through so much stuff just getting to that point, and it's like, man, we finally did it. And that kind of launched this thing where for the next 5-6 years, we were on the road all the time. We were living, for us, we were living the dream. We didn't care if we were the opening band, direct support, headliner, whatever it was. It was like we were playing in front of people, connecting with people, and making so many new friends with all the bands at that time. And I mean, literally, we were living the dream. So we want to, it's almost like for us, that 15-year anniversary blowout is a thank you to all the fans, and we're hoping that, you know, it's well attended. We'll see.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Those are milestone moments, man. I mean, you get the there's something to be said about the tour, doing the thing, making the friends, seeing them, you know, doing the camaraderie with the band. It becomes a blur. You know, those years of your lives become a blur. You don't remember those moments on the stage as much. So getting a chance to relive it and play those songs in your hometown with your feet on the ground in your head, you know, out of the sky, I suppose, even though it's not, you know, it's like the idea is like, wow, I can really breathe this moment in for the first time.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I would assume.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We're excited.
And the I gotta say, the music has never sounded better. I think you guys are like in great form right now. I mean, the vocals, the arrangements, the production is so good. It's still got that King's X. I just can't not hear King's X, and I can't not hear
especially Blue Sky. I mean, every time that comes on, it sounds like
for
Black
sure
Sky or something, you know.
Yeah, even in Spanish, it was there for me. In the, you know, the production's really good. It's like there's a couple songs where it's really stripped down, just like knuckle dragger guitar stuff, like super pentatonic, just really simple, not in an insulting way, but very bare bones. And then there's other parts where there's these big, huge reverb guitars, and like just really, it's a great palette on this piece of work that I'm really proud of you guys, and I'm very impressed. It's sounding really, really good, and I'm a fan. I encourage everybody to go out and check it out. It sounds very mature as well. Chad would say mature because he wears mustard.
He's a Heinz spokesperson.
Yeah.
It's the nose, really.
It is.
When it goes up a little bit higher.
Listen, the nose knows, right? It's very mature.
Very mature
guy.
But yeah, it sounds it sounds really good. Did you guys what was the production part of this for you guys, as far as like studio and how to put together? Was it a tracks thing where you cut some stuff over here, you did some here? Was there stuff just how did it?
A lot at our friends, he's one of our best friends, and actually our rhythm guitar player in our band now, through all this. But he has a studio in Oklahoma City, and it made it a lot easier for us to go and track, especially during the pandemic. You know, we'd all get up there and we'd get masked up and we'd go in there and track and then go home because he lives like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
And so we just co-produced the whole record with him, and we were just like, you know what? We don't need to go hire some big shot, you know, let's just do it ourselves and have fun and see what happens. And we were beyond pleased with what came out.
Yeah, and James Connor, who is it's Vo Studios, is amazing musical mind. Really stepped in and helped us hone a lot of the stuff. Great with harmonies, great guitar player, just has great ideas. So it's been a real blessing to have him come be part of the team now, you know. And then like Dameon said, now he's playing with us live and stuff. So it's just really cool to be in a kind of a different, feels like it's a different era for us, you know, as a band.
I'm trying to teach him how to tap. He's still not getting that yet.
Well, you know, it's just
He'll get there.
Yeah, he'll get there. So we'll change gears for a second, and then Chad and I want to mess with you guys. But first, mess with you more. But first, let's talk about what brought us all together, which is Shiprocked. How was your Shiprocked in January of 23? How did it treat you guys?
Dude, we had so much fun. It was amazing. Yeah. I mean, for us every year is just, it's great. So we're always thankful when we get the call to come back and, you know, hang out with the Stowaways. This one was even more special because we got to play with Aranda and do some of our stuff also.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we were able to pull that off. I'm so glad that worked out.
Me too. And the show, there was that show in the atrium with the acoustic stuff. There's something about that particular area. I don't know what happens, but we played a show there. It was amazing. And then we did some stuff with Corey Glover in that same area. I don't know what it is, but every time it just feels magical.
I think it's just out, you know, you got the triple tier, you know, balconies and people are kind of all around you. And it's just like with the Corey thing, it was so off the cuff, you know, and so we were doing stuff that we had not rehearsed with him and vice versa. And so I think people get such a unique experience on Shiprocked when it comes to those type of moments. You know, it's not only just the bands playing their sets, but it's moments they get to witness where the musicians get together and just go, let's just see what happens, you know?
And that ship lends itself to that for sure. And we weren't really sure how everything was going to play out with that, because it is a smaller stage and it could be, you just don't know, because it could be weird. The artist could feel separated from the guests and be kind of weird. But now that we saw how it went, we're like, we're gonna put more shows in there. You got to be strategic about what you do, but we're definitely gonna put more shows in there.
Because the sound deal is kind of you never know what you're getting.
And I don't know if you'll ever improve upon that. I think that's gonna come with the territory unless we really start thinking about it. But I even started thinking, I was like, well, can we get with the ship to have them turn down some of the lights?
Right.
You know, because it's pretty bright, right? It's out there, and it's very like an open, airy kind of bright thing, and you're seeing people walk by and not pay attention, right? And then you see some people that are really engaged, and then people right below you at the bar. You know, it's
almost directly. You have to kind of look over the
So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. I'm glad it worked out. That was super cool of you guys to do that for us.
I think each year it just gets better and better. You know, I mean, just like I'm sure with everything, it's you tweak from year to year, and you're trying to get closer and closer to having it be the experience that you kind of imagine in your head.
For sure. Yeah.
You guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you, man.
Looked at that space like a hug. If you're in that, you know, like, because you're surrounded all around all sides, and you really have to be vulnerable. You know, like,
and there's people
you're going to have.
I mean, you literally
there's people walking up the
they're on the shoulder, like, "Hey, man, you can play Skinner, man."
And you're like, "Of course."
Of course we are. Yeah,
just wait. It was next on the list, but now that you asked, we're not going to play it.
Yeah, we were going to open.
We're not going to play it.
Yeah.
We're going to. Way to go! You ruined it for everyone.
You ruined it for everyone.
Now you're getting La Bamba.
Fucking jerk.
Kick it, Dameon.
La Bamba after
you want some? You got it.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, guys. We're going to walk the plank, and when I'm going to explain to you what this means, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
This is a twofer because we have both of you. So,
Oh yeah,
should
it's
we
a two for
yeah,
this is
yeah.
good. We'll do
I can
two.
leave.
We'll do two.
No, I'll leave.
All right.
Dameon, would you rather be a plant or a flower?
Flower.
Wow. I mean, I didn't mean to make you mad.
No,
I was more confused, I think.
I just love to bloom, I guess. I don't know.
Whoa.
Okay.
Well, what about you, Gabe?
Oh, is that same question?
Same question.
I guess
Would you
it's
rather
like
be a plant or a flower?
Isn't a flower and a plant kind of the same or no?
Sir.
Thinking.
Sir, let's get real with botany.
Okay.
This is Making Waves of Shiprock Podcast. You never know what you're going to learn.
I'm going to say a plant.
Okay.
Then.
All right. Well,
And either one of you want to elaborate on that?
I want to get pollinated.
Because I think 50% of you don't know what a plant or a flower. I want to get pollinated.
The way you did it,
He doesn't have a good
in the
He's all leaned back.
I want to get pollinated.
I want to get pollinated. Like, doesn't everyone?
Exactly.
Oh,
He died.
okay.
All right. Well, then, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
Are you serious?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're walking the plank now, guys. You're this close to falling off, you know?
Ready?
What's your favorite thing about yourself?
Is it like a physical thing or like a
Yes.
okay.
Physical, emotional, spiritual.
It's yourself.
It could be your diet. It could be your exercise routine. It could be.
I like my diet. No, just kidding.
That's like Kit Kats and
Reese's peanut butter cups.
What do you like most about yourself?
Oh god, I don't want to get too serious here.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing, man. This is what we're doing.
Okay, well,
Just
I like that I'm slow to anger. I feel like I have developed a very even keel. I don't get rattled too easy.
so you're saying that wasn't always the case?
No,
Listen,
no, definitely not.
This is the advantage of having me here on this side of him. The flip side of that is Dameon will take and take and take, and whoever is unlucky enough to be at that breaking point, it all comes out, and it's pretty intense. But he is very slow to anger. But if you're the one that tips that over,
I'm not gonna say anything else.
Hey, Chad.
I'm the same way. So
Chad, I'm going to break protocol here. I'm going to ask a follow-up question.
Sure.
When's the last time you broke?
12:40.
Exactly. When is the last time I went off? It's on somebody. I don't.
Yes.
And
Oh, not necessarily. It just when's the last time you broke? It didn't have to be somebody. Just
I don't know. I can't even really remember when I've like really gone off. Can you remember? You weren't around for that, were you?
I mean, so apparently, what you like most about yourself is real. It's working. Because if you can't even remember
Very
last
slow
time
to
you did it.
anger.
Yeah. Very, very slow. Yeah.
Gabe, what do you like most about yourself?
I think I'm
a good singer.
I can sing vocals, man.
I sing vocals real good.
Real good stuff.
Ready?
No, I mean, I think I've got a kind of a stick-to-itiveness about me that I like. Like, I've got a lot of patience, and when I set myself to a task, I'm kind of obsessive, but in a good way. Like, I don't quit on a task until it's complete. I don't know. I've always thought, I just always thought that was a quality that I liked about myself, you know?
Yeah.
And
Cool.
it helps in doing the construction and stuff that I do when things get kind of tedious. I'm good in those situations when things get real, like, oh man, this is going to take like 4 hours of doing this. I can do that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a huge quality.
Yeah, it sure is. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Both of them are
Yeah.
fucking solid.
Yeah, go talk to my dishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about
Go
vocal?
talk to my
What about my vocal?
So here's a curveball, and you'll get to throw that curveball.
Yes.
So without knowing who this was, and they didn't know who it was going to be asked to, which we will reveal who the person is that asked it. You'll be able to do the same. I'm going to ask you another question. And that question is, what has been the most can't stand it smell moment that you've ever had on tour? I can't stand it. You smelt it and you're like, fuck that.
It's had to be in the van at some point. Some
It's
weird.
always in the van. So for me, it was our late sound guys, Mike Pickens, God rest his soul, the most hilarious individual. His breath, man, was just, I mean, and so he had the bunk right behind the driver's seat.
Oh,
And so when you're driving and his head is right behind you and he's asleep and it's just it's like freaking dark back there, just pumping out nasty.
Oh, you could
good
smell it when he was sleeping?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking
Because he was a mouth. Like it was just like,
And we even had like a theme song to it when it would, come up from, remember that song Kiss of Death from Dokken?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Breath of death. Breath of death.
Oh man. Did he know?
oh
No.
yeah.
He did?
He had to. I mean,
No one's ever
think
but you
They don't
yeah,
know.
no.
They
He
don't
never
know,
got really
guys.
confronted. He never got really confronted.
Yeah, they don't. There's no way they know, because if they know, then they're just being a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know, but there were subtle hints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But Bianca, what is it? Is it what was this breastplate? Bianca? Is that the one from Ace Ventura?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So,
All right.
So that question.
That question was asked by Elias from Nonpoint, and not knowing who the guest was going to be, he asked us to ask this question. So now I'm going to give y'all the opportunity to do the same for next week's guest.
Okay. All right. Fruit of a Looms or Speedos?
Ooh, fuck yeah.
What was it?
Fruit of a Loom or Speedo?
Wow.
What if it's a Fruit of the Loom brand Speedo? Oh, I guess Speedo is
I
the
think
brand.
we know.
We're talking about
I
brand?
think we know.
Okay.
I know what he means, and maybe that makes me a little.
Do you want to do a two first? You want to do? I can.
Yeah, let's do a
we can
two for.
double
That's
up.
fun. That's
Yeah.
fun. Let's double up because we have. Yeah.
Let's see. Would you rather live by the ocean or in the woods?
Fair.
I like that.
Fair.
So Fruit of the Looms or Speedo, and
Or like
would you
box
rather
shorts?
live live by the ocean or in the woods?
Well,
Yeah.
like
Ocean or woods?
Yeah, mount.
Okay.
Mount.
I think I like these questions because one is kind of straight up and one is not.
Yeah.
So it opens up a broader
Broader
the
conversation.
I guess it's more like up in the mountains or by the ocean.
Sea level or mountain air.
This could go in.
Listen, I don't want to take over your question. It's your question. You
Wheels are
want.
turning, Chad.
Yeah.
Because it is a twofer, but it's also a combination because you could say Fruit of the Looms or Speedo. They say Speedo, and you're like, okay, ocean or woods, and they're like woods, and you're like, would you wear the Speedo in the woods?
See,
Wait, boys.
that's right.
Yeah,
well,
that's
thank
great.
you. Well, thank you for walking the plank with us, gentlemen. I think you survived, so thank you for that.
Whatever. I hear that walking.
So lastly, let's finish up with this. I'll talk just a tiny little bit about a charity that means a little bit to you guys, or maybe more. And we have a new relationship with American Musical Supply, and American Music Supply is going to make a donation to your charity, and Shiprocked is going to match their donation. So let's hear about your charity, and we'll link it, and we'll talk about it right now. And tell us about the charity.
Awesome. Actually, this one's a pretty personal charity because it's a great friend of ours that started it. His name's Longtran. We went to school with them, and it all started when his daughters they both had cancer.
Both of them got childhood cancer. Both of his daughters,
And he thought, man, they had struggled through that and just all the things that come with that. And they were like, man, can we start something that basically can help families, either help pay a bill or help them with some hospital stuff, or even basically almost like make a wish come true. We actually got to help this young girl. Her name was Caitlin. She was a singer, and I think she was around 13. And he was like, man, her biggest dream is to come into the studio and record a song. She wants to just come into the studio and record a song. So James, who we were just telling you about, that helped us. Me and James came in, and she came in with her wheelchair, and we recorded one of her original songs, which you can actually get on Spotify right now.
What's it called?
Man, that is such a great question.
I'll find out. I'll link it.
Yeah. And just she had the time of her life, and then probably 6 to 9 months later she passed away. And it's just, but the smile and the joy that she had on her face to be able to live that moment was just priceless. And so that charity for us,
It's called Faith Kids.
It's called Faith Kids, and we literally they do an event every year, and we always play at it, and we just try to give whatever we can. And so that's our charity, because we are very locked in to it.
Love it. Well, American Music Supply and Shiprocked will be donating to that charity on your behalf. And so thank you guys for being here tonight. And I'll link all that stuff and make sure everybody knows about that charity to go check it out for sure. It looks like an absolutely wonderful, worthy cause. So that's awesome that you guys are involved in that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chad, do you have anything to share? I kind of like, I want to close with a bang, and I feel like you're the guy who could do that for us.
Bang. No, I just wanted to, I just wanted to let you know that I am extremely excited to be tuning in on June 20th to your YouTube channel, so that I can check out the premiere of your new music video for the song The Light and Dark.
Yes.
Chad's been doing his homework.
Dude, absolutely.
Somebody's got to be a professional.
Hey, this is our first legit music video in like 11, 12 years.
I was like,
Really?
you guys wear underwear?
Hey, ocean, mountains.
Are you wearing Speedos in the video or what?
Yeah.
Dude,
first proper
cool.
music video in some time, though, huh?
Yeah. And it was a blast to do.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah. Was it done in the mountains or was it done on the ocean?
Was it done? Well, that's a two-pronged question, Al.
Both.
It's done in
It's a professional
studio,
music video.
green screen with the woods and the ocean.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. These days, where can't you be?
Interlocking. Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy for you guys. This energy that you have is not only infectious, but it's courageous, especially in the face of all the adversity, and it's obviously well deserved. The success that you have going on, and
you want to be in the band?
Yeah, I just started playing bass, so if you need a guy,
You're in.
You're in. Exactly.
Yeah, what would you? But what would you do in Aranda?
Oh shit!
Because they're not. They're good.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I couldn't. I mean,
Yeah, we were just talking about maybe doing merch.
yeah, I could do merch. I could do merch.
Want to be in a crew? Did I say band? I meant to say crew.
Yeah, oh shit! I mean, like,
No,
you know,
I think it'd be a hell of a trio.
Dude, if we
Yeah.
could like
Imagine Chad's head right here.
Yeah, I know, it'd be
just
perfect.
be like $40 one.
dude, 3-part harmonies, Kokomo. Let's go.
Dude, sick. But seriously, I'm like extremely stoked for y'all, man.
Thanks,
It's
man.
very cool.
Yeah, it's good to see y'all's faces. Thanks for being here with us tonight, man. We
Huge.
appreciate it.
And I will sell your merch.
Yeah. All right, boys. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.